Hey family, I'm Kaleon, and I interpret messages from the divine in music. I'm a soldier, a cryptologic linguist, and a father of the balance. And today I think it's fitting that we're talking about a song about pride during Pride Month. Because somewhere along the way, I believe we've become confused about what toxic pride actually is. Harmful pride. And I say that because tonight I had dinner with my oldest daughter. For years, our relationship carried pain. There were mistakes I made as a father, moments I wish I could take back, wounds that don't disappear simply because time passes. And yet, somehow, that daughter, she forgave me. Over this last year, we've been rebuilding something beautiful. And tonight, she sat across from me beside her girlfriend. And all I could think was this: how could anyone look at this and call it anything other than love? You see, in today's song by J. Cole called Pride is the Devil, notice what he's talking about throughout the song. He's talking about the pride that keeps us from apologizing, the pride that convinces us we're too important to admit we were wrong, the pride that makes us defensive instead of honest, and the pride that chooses ego over connection, the pride that whispers, protect yourself, don't be vulnerable, never admit fault, you're right and everyone else is wrong. That's the kind of pride that destroys families. That's the pride that cost people decades with the people they love. That's the pride that had me separated from my daughter for years. And here's where I struggle deeply with some expressions of faith as I've been on my journey. Because during Pride Month, there are people who spend enormous amounts of energy condemning those in the LGBT plus community. People who use sacred texts as weapons. People absolutely convinced they know precisely how God feels about people they've never even taken the time to understand. And the irony is that the very certainty they carry might be the exact pride J. Cole is warning us about in the song. It's the arrogance to believe you've figured out the infinite, the confidence to assume your interpretation is perfect, the willingness to elevate rules above compassion, to choose judgment over curiosity, to choose condemnation over relationship. That's harmful pride. Not a rainbow flag, not two women holding hands, not two men building a life together, not a child trying to understand who they are. The true danger of pride isn't loving differently, it's believing yourself incapable of being wrong. It's believing God hates exactly who you hate. It's assuming you've become the final authority on the divine. Tonight, I looked at my daughter. I watched her laugh. I watched her love. And I thought about all the years pride stole from us. My pride, the world's pride, the systems that teach fathers they must always be right, the fear that says admitting failure makes you weak, the shame that keeps apologies trapped in our throats. But love is what brought us back together. Love opened doors pride wanted locked forever. And I think that's the lesson. Pride Month isn't simply about celebration. It's an invitation for all of us to ask ourselves, what pride in me still needs to die? What apology remains unsaid? Whose humanity have I refused to see? Who have I decided God cannot possibly love? Because if your faith consistently leads you towards less compassion, less humility, less understanding, then maybe it isn't faith guiding you at all. Maybe it's pride wearing holy clothes. I do not know all the answers. I don't know exactly how God works. I don't know why some verses exist and why traditions evolve the way they did. But I do know what I witnessed tonight. I witnessed forgiveness. I witnessed healing. I witnessed my daughter happy. I witnessed love. And if all I see is love, then maybe the safest thing I can do is trust that love itself might understand better than I do. Because pride is the devil, toxic pride. But humility is admitting we still have more to learn. Humility is listening before speaking. Humility is making room at the table. Humility is saying, I may not understand your journey fully, but I refuse to deny your humanity. And maybe, just maybe, that's where God has been waiting for us all along. Not at the end of our certainty, but at the beginning of our compassion. And now a prayer for my beloved spiritual and code sister Malika. Beloved light, teach us to recognize the pride that separates us from one another. Give us courage to apologize when we've caused harm. Give us humility to admit when we do not know the answers. Help us protect love wherever we encounter it. May fathers and daughters find each other again. May families divided by fear discover reconciliation. May those rejected in your name remember that they are worthy of dignity, tenderness, and belonging. And may we never become so certain of ourselves that we forget the sacred mystery within one another. Guide us towards balance. Guide us towards compassion. Guide us towards love. Ashe, Amin, and Amen. And happy Pride Month. If this message speaks to you, help me spread it by liking, commenting, sharing, or simply whispering it into the wind. Thanks for watching, family. See you next time. Same fire, new rhythm.